Hello everyone, welcome to my next video. It's now Easter Sunday, so happy Easter to everyone. Review on the two horses that I tipped up yesterday. Captain Dunn, inexcusable, though I thought the writing was on the wall when it went from 7 to 2 out to 6.5 to 1 right before the start. It was there till 1.5 out and then just died, so obviously someone else knew something more than we knew. I thought Owen Glendower though was very unlucky, jumped to pretty much level lead, going to 2 out when he made that mistake and then sadly broke down, it looked like afterwards a bit. He definitely would have been placed without a shadow of a doubt, because his whole feature of his game is staying. So I couldn't have seen him definitely not finishing in the first 3, and he's a gutsy battler as well, and nothing against Aurora's Encore. I don't think it's the best horse in the world, so I think with a bit more pressure on the lead, I really think Owen Glendower would have gone close yesterday, but these things happen, can't be helped. And we move on to today. As I said, a few people asked me about videos for the Fairyhouse Festival, so I'm going to do it today. I'm going to do it a bit different. I'm just going to go with the 3 main protagonists in here, who I think are the 3 ones with the main chances. I'm not necessarily going to tip up one I fancy myself, but it at least gives you a bit of an overview about the race, because it's very, very hard today, very competitive, massive fields, and it is that dangerous time, as I said, the end of the jump season, because you just do not know who is fit and who isn't. But anyway, the first race that kicks off is the 2-mile hurdle. And the favourite in here, and rightfully so, is called Simon Gray. Tony McCoy's on it. It was his best run last time out. Very impressive, in fact. And on the mark, on the level he's on, and the mark, he is going to be the one to take all the beating. However, 2 to 1 in a 20-horse plus race. That's a risk that you may or may not want to take. The interesting line of form here also comes with the next 2 I'm going to mention, which is Back to Blue and Hawk Flight. Hawk Flight actually finished ahead of Back to Blue last time out, coming second. Run a very good race before getting around a bit close home. Back to Blue, however, on the other hand, run a completely different sort of race. He was given far too much to do, and by that time the front 2 had slipped. They'd gone clear of the field, and he was held. To be honest with you, I've watched it again on the races website again today. It was a poor ride. Why give him that far, I don't know, but he run on well enough for 3rd. I can see Back to Blue and actually change into going to turn the form around, possibly with Hawk Flight, because I think Fairyhouse does favour some horses who like to come from behind. Actually, people have a tendency to go off in front, and you probably see it in the Irish National tomorrow. You'll see some horses coming through late, but I still think if you're looking for a winner, Simon Gray on there, or if you're looking for an each way, probably Back to Blue. The 225 I actually fancy quite strongly in this, a horse called Cool Rua for Willie Mullins and Ruby Walsh. Very snug win last time in a listed race, beating Shadow Ella by half a length, but if you watch it, I think he could have beaten him by 5-10 lengths if he chose to do it. It's up another half a mile today, but you know, he won incredibly cosily, and I think it shouldn't be an issue staying the trip. Interestingly as well, is he was entered in 2 races at Aintree later on next week. So the likelihood is, I doubt he'll end up going there so close to this, but so they've obviously pulled him from Aintree with these in mind, and I think that speaks volumes. He's currently around 5 to 2, 9 to 4. I think that represents a pretty good bet, really. Dressed to the Nines is an interesting one at about 5 to 1. He made a mistake at a critical time last time. He was held up, he was making great headway, it was a massive mistake, 4 out, and then stepped on again. I still think that step up and trip now again is more likely to help him, because it was just when the pace was quicker and he made that mistake. So I think giving him a bit longer to get into it, I can see him running into a place at a decent price. I said about 5-6 to 1. And then the other one, which you've got to mention if you mention Cool Rua, is Shadow Ella, who was beaten by Cool Rua last time. I think he'll struggle to turn the form around on a whole. However, that form could turn out to be the best form on offer here, so for that reason 7-8 to 1 on Shadow Ella could be a good each way price if you want it. I think Cool Rua should win, but I think Shadow Ella and Dressed to the Nines are 2 interesting ones to go with it. The 255 is a 2.5 mile hurdle, and I'm going for a bit of a mixture of 3 here to highlight to you guys. First up, obviously, is Lyrene Legend, number 1. He won a Group 2 last time out, beating Folsom Blue. That's the best form on offer for me, because Folsom Blue is a very good horse in turn right. I know it's highly thought of by the Gigginstown people. So, you know, a Group 2 over distance. Ground might be a bit softer today than he's used to, possibly, but he should have no problems going in it. It's the best form on offer, 5 to 1. You can do it each way, and you can get your money back if he doesn't come in the first. I think it's actually even before in that one. I'm not 100% sure at the moment. But it's the best form on offer, and it's good. A very interesting one is Texas Jack. He came 4th of 8 in a Group 2 last time out. Now, what happened was he came there. He didn't, like, you know, he didn't, like, get dropped behind and easily left. He stayed on at the 1 pace, so I think the step up of half a mile will definitely work in his favour. And Noel Meade knows exactly what he's doing. And it's currently around, well, actually 10 to 1 with Bet365 at the moment. I've just seen it come up here now on the screen. I think that could be a potentially good each way bet. Now, if you want a very big price one, which might be able to do quite a bit for you, a horse called His Excellency, 40 to 1 it is at the moment. That is a staggering price. He came 8th of 20 at Cheltenham, and he did meet, this was in the Un Artiste one race, and he did meet trouble on that bend and then stayed on twice. So he actually stayed on to get there, met trouble and stayed on again. Now that's 2 mile with a hill. I think 2.5 mile will be more up his sleeve. The one problem with this horse is he does have this tendency to throw in an absolute stinker for whatever reason you want. He did at the start of the season, nothing, then turned in a good win, then a good place, then nothing, and it was more reasonable last time out. Now 40 to 1 in that. One thing about His Excellency, he can travel well in the early part of a race. So Betfair at the moment, he is 59 on Betfair at the moment, which is 58 to 1. That's a type where you could back that, and then within the first half mile of a race, you could end up going a lot shorter. So he could go very well. But I think it's one of those, if we look at those three, Lyrene Legend, Texas Jack, and His Excellency, they're the three to look at. 325 is a 3 mile hurdle. I wouldn't have a bet in this race. It's an absolute minefield. But, you know, if you're looking to do it, the two I'm going to point out are both around 7 to 1. And it's two different type of horses. The first horse I'm going to mention is Make a Track. Came 4th in the Cheltenham Festival, and that once again it got heavily hampered and then stayed on again. And I've actually watched a Cheltenham video, and Simon Holt did commentary and said how remarkable it was, how close he got, because he was completely taken off his feet early on and then again at the end. That was in the 2.5 mile hurdle. I think the step up to 3 mile will definitely suit him. He's got that style. He keeps quite a bit up his sleeve for the end, and you can see that the way, even though he got hampered, he stayed on again. And obviously with a bit more luck in running, I think Make a Track could do pretty well. Now, a different one here is Vesper Bell for Willie Mullins, and, well, Ruby Welch is on it. He was outstanding last time out. I think he got to the front sooner than he wanted, and he stayed all the way on to the line. It was bottomless ground that day, though he's got a bit of form on better ground. He should stay, but the question is, has he got the class to make this step up to this level? As I said, I wouldn't personally be having a bet in this race, but I think Make a Track and Vesper Bell are two to look at if you're thinking, I definitely want to do something in that 325. Now, the 355 is a 2 mile hurdle, and there's two to focus on here for me. First of all is the favourite, which is Competitive Edge, currently around 7 to 2. Best piece of form, I reckon, on offer, winning form anyway, because he won very well last time. Obviously, he's got a lot of weight this time, but it doesn't look the best race on paper. So, once again, I think he could be a decent bet. I can see him actually drifting because, you know what I mean, because it's that type of race where it's very competitive. So, if you get around 4 to 1 on him as well, you've got the each way option again to go and save your money if you come second, third, or fourth. And he should definitely be there. Now, the interesting one is called Chill, currently around 8 to 1. He was bang there till 2 out behind. I think it was Un Artiste at Cheltenham last time. And it was just as he approached the final fence, you could see him, he got tired, jumped, and then few overtook him. It was in the last 50, 60 yards. I think the flatter track here at Fairyhouse will be more to his liking, and this is a lot easier. Now, he did have a hard race, so provided in the 3 weeks pretty much since Cheltenham now, he's managed to recover in time. Chill could be a very good each way bet here at around 8 to 1. So they would be the two I'd be tempted to focus on. The highlighted day one of Fairyhouse is obviously the 2.5 mile chase in the 4:30, and the three I'm going to concentrate on here for me is all at the head of the market. I'm going to start with Flemenstar. He's had an excellent season. He's beaten pretty much everything he's come up against. However, I don't think he's come up against horses with the class that's on offer here. In particular, and they're going to be the next two I'm going to mention, which are Rattle and Call the Police. It wouldn't be no shock if Flemenstar wins, but at even money, it's one of the shorter prices he's been, and it's one of the it's around the same price it usually is, but it's a lot harder race. So it's a case of if you think he's that good, then he's the bet for you. If you don't, then I can recommend two to go against him. First up, as I just mentioned, was Rattling. Very dominant in the Group 2 last time, and the one thing about him was he's very imposing. When he gets there, you can see he really knuckles in. He's got a really tenacious battling attitude as well when horses come to him. Now, for me, that's the horse I'm going to be doing today, and I keep saying it, I can do it each way and get my money back, because unless he falls, I can't see Rattling not coming in the first three today. And I know Fleming Star was a group race, so was Rathlin. For me, that's the best form winning, or the best winning form on offer was Rathlin's last time. So with me, I always go with the best form on offer, even though technically a horse may improve past it. I think he has got the best form on offer. And also, you couldn't not mention Call the Police, who was brilliant in the RSA when came third last time, when seemingly they didn't think he would do much. I think it was a great run on there. The one thing I would say, though, turning in for home, he was fifth, then fourth, and he only got third on the run-in. The drop back to 2.5 mile, I know some people are saying it may suit him. I think he was more staying on over 3 mile to get third place. If it was at the 2.5 mile stage, he was about 15 lengths off the winner and getting pushed. So I don't know. He could run a very good race, Call the Police, I think, but I think it's a worry stepping back. But they're the three to take on, which is Fleming Star, Rathlin, Call the Police. But my bet on that one, and I'm going to be doing it myself, will be Rathlin. Now the final race that we get on day one is the 2 mile 6 Hunter Chase, I think it is. And I'm going to give once again a nice little span of the market on this. First up to mention is El Fontan, who's 4-1 favourite. He was in the process of an excellent race when he fell last time. He was travelling beautifully, jumped outstanding. I can't believe he actually fell, to be honest with you. The one thing I would say, it was a crunching fall. So the one risk element you've got to take on is here, has he fully recovered? Interestingly enough, he has been entered in the future in, I think it's the cross-country race at Punchestown at the end of the month, and he was left in Aintree until last week. So bear in mind they're a bit further down the line. I don't think they're going to risk him unless they fully feel that he's recovered. So he could run a very big race. The one I like here actually is called Kildare Blowing, currently around 8-1. He stayed on in second last time at Down Royal over 2 mile 4, so I think this 2 mile 6 trip should definitely suit. It was weird, he seemed to get outpaced before the last bend at Down Royal and then came flying through at the end. I think the course at Fairyhouse might play more to his strengths as well as the step up in trip. The ground won't be a problem, so I can see Kildare Blowing running a very good race. Now, if someone wants a bigger price, wants to have an interesting look on here, possibly for a back to lay option, is Savile Row. He just didn't seem to stay 3 mile last time, but when he got to around 2.5 mile, 2 mile 4, 2 mile 5 stage, he was going as well as anyone, and then suddenly it was bang, out he went. Now, the interesting one, he's a front runner, and he did get pressured quite a lot in that last race for a lead. I've looked through the card here. I might be totally wrong, and there's some big prices, and sometimes they might say, forget it, let's just go out in the lead and see what we can do. But there is always that element that he may get an easy lead in the early part of the race. Now, currently at 19.5 on Betfair, he's the type. If you back him at 19.5, you could very easily end up being able to lay him off quite quick if he does get that uncontested lead. Now, I know it's only 2 furlongs, but I think the step back in trip will actually help him a bit as well. Because I said 2 mile 4, 2 mile 5, he was going great there last time. And, you know, he has been very bold from the front in the past. Now, if he can get an easy lead, conserve a bit, he could run a very big race at a big price. So they're the 3 that I'll be looking at there, which is El Fontan, Kildare Blowing, and Savile Row, where if I was having a bet, I will be tempted to go with Kildare Blowing. I always say on this, be very careful at this time of year because you just don't know what's happening at the moment. Always look for the market as well. If a horse is fresh and well, you'll see some movements, especially in Ireland. They love it. But if you're looking at the horses that I'd be backing today, it'd probably be Simon Gray, the 155, Cool Rua in the 225. I'd probably leave the 255 and 325 myself today. I would have a go on Rathlin at 4-1 in the 430, and depending on how I'm going on, maybe Kildare Blowing in the last. Well, I hope you find it useful. As I said, I've gone it a bit different, so rather than being absolutely saying this is what I strongly fancy and stuff, it's better to just share the market on this. I've done the research into it like I do with all the major race meetings, really, so I just thought to let you know what I think, where we're up to. Once again, if anyone else has any fancies, please post them on the bottom of this video. Love to know what you're doing, and I'll be doing it more for tomorrow, which is obviously Irish Grand National, and again on the Tuesday. Interesting one is here in the Irish Grand National. Glam Jerry apparently has been declared. Now that run an absolute belter at Cheltenham, and at the time I remember saying I'm going to promise myself I'll do that next time out. He's going to step up in trip, which may or may not help him. But I just thought I'd share that one with you now. I may end up saying tomorrow I don't think it will stay or something's against it in that sense. But at the time I did promise myself that I'd do it next time out. So I just thought I'd share that one with you anyway. Okay, I hope we get some winners today, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Cheers, bye.